Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our Misad Bulletin, and we shall start with our headlines. Saudi strikes stunned Yemeni capital after ex-president slain. 3 Gulf Arab rulers escape GCC summit in Kuwait. And moving on to our details, starting with Sanaa's crisis. Heavy airstrikes by the Saudi-led coalition pounded Yemen's capital overnight, targeting Sanaa's densely populated neighborhoods in apparent retaliation for the killing of the former Yemeni president by the country's Shiite rebels. The body of ex-President Ali Abdullah Saleh, which had appeared in a video by the militias with a gaping head wound, was taken to the city's military rebel-controlled hospital. Saleh's son Salah said on Tuesday that he won't receive condolences for his father's death until after avenging the blood of his father. He also urged his father's followers to fight the Houthis. In relation to the context, from Cairo, Arab League chief issued a statement on Tuesday denouncing Yemeni ex-President Ali Abdullah Saleh's assassination at the hands of criminal militias. Ahmed Abu al-Ghait also warned Yemen's situation could explode further and worsen humanitarian crisis. The League spokesman quoted Abu al-Ghait as saying, "The international community should label the Houthis a terrorist organization." He added that all means should be tackled for the Yemeni people to get rid of this black nightmare. Onto the GCC summit, rulers of the 3 Gulf nations now boycotting Qatar have skipped a summit of the Gulf Cooperation Council being held in Kuwait, sending instead deputies or other representatives. Bahrain, Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates all sent lower-ranking officials to the GCC meeting on Tuesday in Kuwait City. That's despite Qatar's ruling Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani attending the meeting overseen by Kuwaiti Emir Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmed Al Sabah. Ahead of the start of the GCC meeting in Kuwait, the United Arab Emirates announced it had formed a new military and economic alliance with Saudi Arabia. Meanwhile, the United Arab Emirates on Tuesday announced it has formed a new economic and partnership group with Saudi Arabia separate from the Gulf Cooperation Council. The Emirati Foreign Ministry announcement just hours ahead of a GCC meeting in Kuwait said the new Joint Cooperation Committee was approved by the United Arab Emirates ruler and president Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed Al Nahyan. The Emirati Ministry said the new committee is assigned to cooperate and coordinate between the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia in all military, political, economic, trade and cultural fields, as well as others in the interest of the two countries. On the Syria's profile, Syrian air defense units shot down 3 Israeli missiles that were targeting a military post near the capital Damascus only days after the Jewish state hit a military position nearby. Syria's state news agency SANA did not say on Tuesday whether some of the missiles hit the target and did not give any word on casualties, but it said the attack occurred around midnight on Monday. From another perspective, the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said the attack was an Israeli airstrike on the Damascus suburb of Jamariya. The attack comes 3 days after Syria said Israel fired several surface-to-surface missiles at a military post near Damascus. And going to the Middle East crisis, Turkey and the Palestinians warned on Tuesday of dire diplomatic repercussions if President Donald Trump goes ahead with a possible recognition of the hotly contested city of Jerusalem as Israel's capital. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan told Parliament that his country's response could go as far as us cutting diplomatic ties with Israel. While the diplomatic advisor of Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas warned that the Palestinian leadership could hold contacts with U.S. counterparts in response to such recognition. From another perspective, on Monday, the Organization for Islamic Cooperation said U.S. recognition of Jerusalem as Israel's capital would constitute an act aggression. In relation to the same profile, the chief of the Arab League is warning the United States not to take any measures that would change Jerusalem's current legal and political status. Ahmed Abu al-Ghait spoke on Tuesday during a meeting in Cairo of Arab League representatives gathered to discuss President Donald Trump's possible recognition of Jerusalem as Israel's capital. Abu Ghait said the possible U.S. decision would be a dangerous measure that have repercussions across the entire Mid East region. He also urged the Trump administration to reconsider the issue. This comes as American officials have said President Trump may recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital this week. On the other side of the world, a semi-United Nations official arrived in Pyongyang on Tuesday for a rare four-day visit at the initial invitation of the North Korean government. Under Secretary General for Political Affairs Jeffrey Feltman is scheduled to meet Foreign Minister Ri Yong-ho, Vice Minister Pak Myong-guk, diplomats and UN staff during his stay. They are expected to discuss a wide range of issues noteworthy that Feltman, the highest-ranking American in the UN Secretariat, is the first person in that post to visit North Korea since February 2010, but he is not representing the U.S. government. On another side of the world, Romania's royal house says former King Michael, who ruled the country during the Second World War, has died in Switzerland, aged 96. The royal house said that Michael died on Tuesday lunchtime in his residence in Aubonne, Switzerland. It's worth mentioning that his family announced last year that Michael had leukemia and another type of cancer and was withdrawing from public life, handing over his responsibilities to his oldest daughter Margarita. Michael first acceded to the throne in 1927 when he was 6, ruling for 3 years after his father Carol II eloped with his mistress. He became king again in 1940 after Carol abdicated again. And moving on to nature crises, ferocious winds in southern California whipped up an explosive wildfire that prompted evacuation orders for nearly 8,000 homes. Authorities said the blaze broke out on Monday and grew wildly to more than 40 square miles in the hours that followed, consuming vegetation that hasn't burned in decades. The winds were pushing it toward Santa Paula, a city of some 30,000 people in the northwest of Los Angeles, and many of the evacuated homes were in that city. However, evacuation orders were expanded to houses in Ventura, which is 12 miles southwest and has 106,000 residents. And finally, our economic news, where share benchmarks were mostly lower on Tuesday after a lackluster recession on Wall Street. Germany's DAX slipped 0.2% to 13,031.90, and the CAC 40 of France lost 0.2% to 5,377.07. Britain's FTSE 100 climbed 0.2% to 7,353.47. Wall Street looked set for a positive start, with S&P 500 futures up 0.1% at 2,640.40, and Dow futures gaining 0.2% to 24,356. In addition, Tokyo's Nikkei 225 index slipped 0.4% to 22,622.38, and the Shanghai Composite Index shed 0.2% to 303.68. And before ending our news, let's take another look at the most important headlines for today. Saudi strikes pound Yemeni capital after ex-president slain. 3 Gulf Arab rulers escape GCC summit in Kuwait. And we reach the end of our MISAD bulletin for today. Thank you for joining us, and see you tomorrow in a new bulletin.